So my name's Amber Brooks. I'm 33 years old, so on the older side of the team. Been playing 12 years professionally. I play mostly center back or defensive center mid, doesn't really matter, coach's choice. And I grew up in New Hope, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, I know you have quite a bit of experience in WSL. What do you think? How do you think that's going to play out? With experience there versus this league that's going to be coming in the fall.
Yeah, I think it's important not to compare the leagues as much as possible. Obviously, inevitably that's going to happen, but I think the most important thing about the USL Super League is that it's offering 150 more female players job opportunities to play professional soccer in the U.S., which is arguably the best league in the world. So I expect to obviously bring a lot of experience. A lot of that was tailored to the NWSL and the players there, but I think at the end of the day, soccer is soccer. And so you'll have other teams with other players that have played in the NWSL, some that have played overseas. I've done both. And I think it's just, as one of the veteran players, feel a responsibility to bring the team together for sure.
What was that like to be, the first announced signing of the club?
Yeah, that was really cool. I've played on a lot of clubs. I don't think I've ever been the first signing, so that was a nice little touch for sure.
Then you have some history in the Houston area. You played for the Dash for a little bit. What are you expecting to return to Texas?
So we actually played one of our games up in Dallas here. It was post Hurricane Harvey. Our field was unplayable, so FC Dallas really welcomed us up to their stadium in Frisco, and we got more fans at that game on late notice than we ever did in my 4 years in Houston. So it was kind of like that moment that I was like, why does Dallas not have a women's professional soccer team? This is crazy between the talented female players that they produce and just the number of fans that obviously are craving a team. It just made sense. So I'm glad now, 8 years later, basically, it's happening.
What is it, thinking back then and now that you haven't lived in Dallas, you told me that you just moved here, a couple weeks ago. What has your experience been like?
It's been good, yeah, hot, but used to that between Houston and even when I played in Australia, it was in the dead heat of their summer. So, and even North Carolina, where I spent the past few months or preseasons, we're used to it. It's just something you acknowledge and push through. But yeah, it's been great. My fiance is a high school football coach, so he's got some interviews lined up. Hopefully he finds something that'll be good for him here, Dallas football. Everyone's been really welcoming, just the little stuff I've had to do with the team, the club members. Obviously I'd met the Neal family, but just meeting even the interns and other people helping out. There's a lot of work to do in the next couple of weeks before we kick off, but you can see the intention is there and everyone's really bought in.
For you, what does it mean to play your home matches in the Cotton Bowl that has such a rich history of hosting World Cup matches and friendlies of all these club teams from around the world?
Yeah, it was funny again. When I told my fiance, he played football at Auburn, and I was like, "Hey, we're playing our home games in the Cotton Bowl," and he was like, "What?" That's crazy. So I actually got to visit it last week. I had a photo shoot there, and obviously the first thing you notice is how big it is, and but honestly, the things that as players we care about is the surface, and obviously probably the grass will be replaced even before we kick off in September. But the grass that they had laid down for the U.S. men's national team training was some of the best I've ever seen. And I think as a player, you want your atmosphere to be bumping, but first and foremost, you want to be playing on a good surface that can make or break a game. So I think in terms of the Neal family looking at it from that player perspective, securing the best grass in the city and then it being actually in the city. I've played on a lot of clubs where we're playing 45 minutes to an hour outside of the actual fan base that we're trying to encourage to come, and that's obviously just not ideal on a weekly basis. So I think the city of Dallas stepping up and helping with that subsidy and wanting their women's sports teams in Dallas is huge.
I know you mentioned that you spent some time in Carolina, played at USC, or not USC, UNC, and you just played in the TSC tournament over in Cary. What was it like to get back out there and compete in that tournament?
Yeah, it was an amazing tournament. Just even for the second year, obviously really the first year having a full-blown women's division, but Chris Ball and Aleko Escuderian are a couple of the big ones that are running it, and it's honestly very professionally done. Some of the most professional competition I've been a part of. There's definitely little nuances and rules that you learn, and you're like, okay, our team definitely needed more players. There's a certain way that it's almost like ice hockey or it's like futsal. You can't treat it as like a normal 11s game. And so we didn't have a ton of players, so I had to play every minute, which is not how you're supposed to do it. But it was so fun. It was great, and it was just really great to see, that they had the women's division this year, and it was basically like a reunion of, for most of us, you knew just about everyone else on the teams, and the fact that it was equal prize money at the end of the day was obviously a great thing.
I saw you tweeted out that you like the color maroon on you. Can you talk about the logo and the colors and what it all means to you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they did a great job. I think I've actually met him, but whoever they hired for like the branding and the design did a great job. Obviously, I think people just look at things first glance, but then when you know the like motives and the history behind it, and Pegasus is really cool. I'm really into like mythical creatures in history, so like I was like, oh, Pegasus. And yeah, like the color, like obviously it's trending a little toward Florida State, which I'm like, but at the same time, I think I've been out of college long enough, and I've actually never been on a team that has like this colorway, so I'm definitely excited. But yeah, it was established that at least in Burnley maroon, I looked good, so I think we're good to go.
As far as the coach just got announced a couple days ago, have you spoken with her? Like, what's the relationship like there?
Yeah, I had a Zoom chat with her a few weeks ago, her and the assistant that she's bringing over, and it was just very much like getting to know you. They've obviously, there's like film galore out there for me from all the years, and kind of just like what type of player I am, and what value I can bring and stuff like that. So it wasn't like really intricate. It was just like, hey, like, here's me, here's kind of like our initial thoughts on you, like, hopefully we get over there soon, and like kind of expect me a little bit to obviously provide some leadership given the experience that I have, but nothing in depth. We obviously want to play entertaining soccer. I think everyone says that though, and as a defender, I'm going to say, okay, well then we need to be scoring and we need to be keeping goals at the back of our net. So there's a lot to work on once she hits the ground running. But in terms of initial conversation, she was really enthusiastic and I think really excited about a player like me. So obviously that's great for me to hear.
And then lastly, I know you when you moved out here, you I guess put a call out for recommendations. Have you gotten any good ones?
Yeah, I did get some, and I tried like Houndstooth coffee. That was very good, I will say. So I didn't even start drinking coffee till I played in Australia in like 2019. But my fiance is like a 3-cup a day, and like lattes, not like black coffee or anything like that. So by default, I am now like addicted to coffee. Like I will get a caffeine headache if I don't have a latte in the morning. So. We're very like snobby about it. Like we don't go to Starbucks unless like that's like last case thing. So we have our own. We actually are building our own coffee like station at home. We've got a good machine. But we're always looking around for like good beans. We've got our own grinder, but we like to support locally. So if we go, like we went to Houndstooth, and I think we bought a couple of bags. We was like, oh, we like your stuff, and we make like pretty good lattes, especially like he'll drink about 3 in the morning. I only need 1 and maybe an afternoon one, so like we can't be buying 4 lattes like a day. But sometimes as like a treat, like maybe after this I'll come back, like stop at someplace. So we're still looking. It's hard to find gluten-free. I've found a few gluten-free like restaurants that look pretty good, but it's nice if you like go get a coffee and they happen to have like a bakery item that's gluten-free. That's like the best. So we're definitely homebodies. We cook everything basically ourselves. So it's more like getting out to a farmer's market and like a good meat place. And again, like we prefer to support local. Obviously, there's great I think options in Dallas. So. But we will throughout, probably more so with my teammates. I will be getting out and eating because.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, have you gone to any restaurants or anything?
After training one day, we went to like Mi Cocina. For lunch with like Trip and a few of us players who finished training last week. So that was good. Obviously, I'm sure there's a lot of great like Tex-Mex. And I love barbecue. So for me, I think I'm gonna have barbecue catered for the wedding.
There you go.
I'm gonna go, but. We're open, but my fiance, Dog, and I are pretty much homebodies. Like we love to cook pretty much everything. So it's more like, has to be like a really special place to get us out and about.
I know I said that was the last one. This is really the last one. Just what are you most excited about coming this fall with the season coming up?
I think playing games. I think for most of us, there's been like this awkward period of time where we haven't really been in a team environment playing like competitive games. So For me, like truly, I went into preseason with Chicago and then trained with UNC, but those games, didn't really count. So I haven't played like a meaningful game since last November. So I'm a super competitive person. That's why I'm still playing. Otherwise, I would just, retire softly. But I absolutely love competing and getting after it, and then obviously by default winning. So yeah, the plan is to. I know we have 2 games before that we have to make a point, but I think everyone showing up the 7th, it'll be way worth it for sure.